Good morning and welcome to the Camnet Breakfast Show today, Tuesday, 8th November 2022. It is a lovely Tuesday and the weather here in Lusaka is cool. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's not hot, it's not cold either, it's just right. To discuss today's interesting topics, I am joined by my beautiful colleague, amazing Katamanda, to just help us discuss the issues that we have today. We are going to be talking about youth entrepreneurship to end poverty. So today our phone lines are not working, but you can leave us messages on Facebook and contribute to the topic. Good morning, Katamanda.
Good morning, Zipar. I just love how you say my name.
Amazing. Next time you're going to introduce me as your lovely, beautiful colleague.
I know, right? I'm going to do that definitely. Good morning to you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying the rainy season here in Lusaka. I don't know about you.
I'm also enjoying. I don't know why people hate the rainy season, but for me, I love it.
Like, it's time to start getting on that
season.
It's time to start geting on those people's backs at Kulima Towers. You try to cross, you know, the issue of floods here in Lusaka.
I know.
And you know, in other parts like Ndola, these problems are not there. These problems are not there. Like, you know, one time I was in Ndola and I was expecting that we were going to have the same problems like floods. But that place is just okay. So I don't know what is wrong with Lusaka. Is it a matter of we have too many people?
I think so.
Too much. The population is high. Maybe we've not had enough drainages to meet the demand of people. I don't know. Like really, we've got so many communities. We need to make sure that each and every community has got adequate drainages. Anyway, your thoughts on today's topic?
I'm excited because this one involves me because I'm a youth. So I'm excited about today's topic. How can we poverty, ending it through entrepreneurship? That's what we're talking about today. So I'm excited because we have someone who's just going to help us break down that topic, and of course they're just going to give us their views. And to the viewers at home, if you want to be part and parcel of the show, the numbers are on your TV screens. Give us a direct message because unfortunately today we're unable to take your calls, but leave your comments on our Facebook page. We really want to hear from you. That's what I'm looking forward to, learning.
Yes, and we're going to be joined by Mr. Nechan Tiakakuya, who is the Executive Director of Industrial Youth Organization. Just help us discuss today's topic. But before we go on today's topic, it's time to actually have the morning boost and exercise a little. Katamanda, do you exercise every morning at home? Do you exercise? I think in Zambia we've got this culture. We've grown up knowing that you're supposed to wake up, of course, to say your morning prayer, you brush your teeth, and just go wherever you're going. We've not had this culture of exercise. I think it's high time
that people do. It's not everybody.
It's a natural exercise.
Exactly. It's not everybody who drives to work. Others just walk from their homes to their place of work, and again when they knock off they have to go. Don't you think that's enough
exercise? It's a natural exercise.
Yes.
God-given exercise.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's just have the morning boost, and please join us as we exercise this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, back and today we're gonna do a little bit of exercises, but before that we're gonna do a stretch, which is very important. So I want you to place your hands on your knees and stretch and hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then stretch your back foot, hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright, then we're back the other side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, then we go for 10 side to side. That's 1, 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, 10. Then we go down 1. Make sure I breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. One more. And 10. The first exercise, if you don't have a mat, you can do it on the floor. So we're gonna go down into a plank position. You crawl, you go, you crawl, you plank, you walk back. That's 1. You crawl, plank. That's 2. You crawl, 3. You could pick it up. 4. 5. If you got so much strength, you can even go for a push-up. Down. 6. 7. 8. 9. 1. And 10. Woo! Good. By the way, we have these amazing outfits at our gym. Go Choice Fitness Sportswear. If you need any gym outfits, attire, we got you sorted. Plenty of male and female clothing. Next exercise is a plank, 1 minute. So I'm going to show you the modified version. Modified version, the knees are on the floor, you hold it. I'll show you the side view. Side view. If you got so much energy, you can lift your feet up and hold it. Original plank, flat and hold. And the good thing with plank, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but you need to zone out. Otherwise, if you think too much about the bend, it bends. So you have to zone out and think of whatever gets you going away from the pain. But it's very good because your core, your middle core, your upper core, and your lower core getting done.
Quite an exercise there, Katamanda. I am tired. What about you?
I'm also tired. I'm also tired.
And I love this new morning boost. I think this one, like, I know that time, we're having the same thing every day. But this one, we've seen some new, like, kinds of styles and exercising and all that. Yeah, it's very interesting. They're quite interesting. So anyway, just now, we jump into our health segment, and just a reminder that our health segment is actually up for sponsorship. You can come and sponsor the health segment. So let's just hear what the doctors from the Medical Women Association of Zambia, MWAS, have for us this morning. Stay tuned.
morning. My name's Dr. Rafat Basit Masa. I'm coming from Medical Women's Association of Zambia, MWAZ, and I'm working in University Teaching Hospital as a general surgeon. We're going to have another exciting topic in burns that we've been talking in the last 2 days. So today we're going to talk about treatment. But before that, remember we talked about introduction, we talked about the symptoms, which is very important because we talked about what causes you to have burns, like fire, hot water, hot oil, porridge, acids, alkalines, and something very cold, and many more things that causes burns. So we looked at the types of burns, we looked at the depth of burns, how much burns can injure your body, up to what level, we looked at them. Now we're going to talk about the treatment of burns. So the different kind of burns that we looked at, we talked about superficial burns, the ones which doesn't cause much damage inside your skin. It just there's loss of skin, and there's there's a lot of pain, there's redness, and slightly a bit of loss of function as well. So in those burns, first of all, ensure that when you get any great burns, make sure you go to your nearest health care. They are going to provide all the treatment for you. As we discussed earlier, that when you get burned, do not apply anything on your wounds. Just make sure that you go to the basin, wash your hands or the part that has been burned in normal room temperature water for about 20 minutes. From there, go to the nearest health care and they'll provide everything for you. So for the superficial burns, there is nothing much that needs to be done. We can give you some ointments to apply and teach you how these wounds can be looked after. And between 7 to 14 days, if you're accurately following our instructions or our instructions from the healthcare, from the nurses, from the doctors, then definitely you are going to heal very well between 7 to 14 days. Then for the burns which are second degree, that those burns which are deeper than the first degree, for example, they'll go slightly deeper than the skin, they'll cause blisters, they'll also be very, very painful, and they are going to make you feel devastated. You lose lots of fluids. Sometimes you also lose a bit of blood because as they are cleaning the wounds, you'll be bleeding from the wounds, and that will cause you to have a bit of anemia as well. So it's also a very, very devastating time for the patient, for the patient's family as well, because the patient's family has to be always by the bedside to ensure that they are looking after the patient. The children, it's very devastating to see children getting burned because children are the most beautiful people that we have in this world, and when they get hurt, we also get hurt. So ensure that we protect them as well. So when it comes to second degree burns, they actually require admission. They require good, adequate, we need to give them good amount of fluids, because remember that there's skin loss and they've lost some fluids. Then if required, we give them blood. Then we actually give, if there's infection, we give them antibiotics. Then we make sure that we are cleaning the wounds very well. Then we ensure that once you get burned, make sure that if your hand gets burned or your leg gets burns, any part of your body that gets burns, please make sure that you're always mobilizing that part, because if you don't mobilize, you'll have more complications that we're going to talk about in the next episode for complications. But for now, just make sure that you move your limbs very well, exercise them so that you get back to your full function. We don't want a situation that you are actually burned and your wounds were very nicely cleaned, you were looked after, and at the end of the day you were not exercising your body, so that makes you become very stiff and you're unable to move that part of your body. So we want you to function the way you used to before. Of course, life is never the same after you get burned, because you end up getting scars, and it's very devastating with your family, then with your spouse, with a lot of complications coming. So that's why avoiding these burns is the best solution. So please, let's make sure that we avoid getting burned as much as we can, and especially when it comes to children. Our majority statistics in university teaching hospital, what we noticed is we receive a lot of children every single day. We receive a lot of children every single day, and majority of these children, they get burned because most of the mothers are working mothers. You find they've gone for work and they've remained with the maids, and they were not really adequately looked after. So you find the children, they end up touching pots, hot water, pots with porridge, or braziers. They go into braziers, or some of them even fall on the braziers and they get burned. Sometimes they get burned really bad that they don't recover. Others actually recover, others we lose them. So it's it's a very devastating situation where you find a beautiful child who has been playing around, has been living well, suddenly dies because he has been burned. So these things can be always avoided because of we can avoid them. Ensure that even if wherever we leave our children, please make sure that you emphasize them to look after your children very well. Let's look after our children very well, like they are our children. So we ensure that they don't go through these devastating situations. For a child, it's very difficult because they're going to grow. They are our future. So why should we let them get burnt? So please make sure that you protect our children, ourselves, from getting burned. Please keep watching Camnet, because we are going to bring you different types of topics, different types of discussion, wonderful discussions. You're going to learn so many things from us. We are going to teach you a lot of things. So please stay tuned with Camnet channel. Keep watching every day, and you will learn a lot of things with us. My name's Dr. Rafat Basit Masa. I'm coming from Medical Women's Association of Zambia, MWAZ, and I'm working in University Teaching Hospital. Please stay tuned and keep watching us with these exciting topics.
Well, I hope you learned one or two things there from our doctors. Very important information, and more important is even practicing what the doctor said. Just now we jump right into the money market and see how the kwacha is faring against major international convertibles. So we have the Great British Pound, which is buying at 18 kwacha 47 way, selling at 18 kwacha 84 way. The United States dollar, which is buying at 16 kwacha 12 way, selling at 16 kwacha 43 way. The euro, which is buying at 16 kwacha 09 way, selling at 16 kwacha 41 way. The South African rand, which is buying at 0 kwacha 91 way, and selling at 0 kwacha 93 way. And hopefully, Katamanda, by next year, like we said yesterday, we're going to see the kwacha even reaching up to a 10 kwacha mark. In January this year, we had some economists such as Luinda Habazoka predicting, that was in January, predicting that by December the kwacha was going to be at 10 kwacha to one United States dollar, but we've seen it going there, it's almost at 17 kwacha.
Yeah, but anyway, you know, sometimes what we plan is not what happens. So I guess when he was predicting, he didn't foresee some of the...
And we thank God because now we no longer have the coronavirus, like it has reduced significantly. So hopefully all the economic activities will resume to normal.
Hopefully.
So that the kwacha can reach the desired goals of 10 kwacha. They prayed for 10
My
kwacha.
hope is just we get to 3 kwacha.
Yeah, because a long time ago we were at 5 kwacha, and we remember at 5 kwacha people used to complain, no, they're dula, no, these people always talk.
But
now here we are, we're like
still.
triple and more than triple.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should learn to appreciate when things are good. Because I remember when I was growing up, even just tin fish, you know, tin fish, those are 3 kwacha. And that time used to say it's expensive. But now it's 20 kwacha, the same tin fish. And we still buy it.
Yeah, we still
But
buy
that time we used to complain, oh, tin fish, it's expensive, it's 3 kwacha.
We have no choice. We just adapt to the situations, I guess. But for some families, unfortunately, they cannot.
Yeah.
And this is why today we're having the topic that we're having, just entrepreneurship to end poverty. We see what we can do as the youth to help ourselves. So hopefully we'll get somewhere.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, just jumping into zooming the headlines before we go into our main topic today, we're going to look at the story yesterday done by Petronella in Kawe there, who's our reporter, just talking about the issue of junkies. Your thoughts, Katamando, on the issues of junkies? Because, you know, okay, I've lived in Kawe for a long time, but the reports have not been as much as Lusaka here. But then I'm surprised today I heard like all these things have started there. Is it that are they migrating from here to there, or is it just a matter of maybe drug abuse? Is it high poverty levels? What are your thoughts? What's causing this?
I think high poverty levels, people don't have jobs, they don't have what to do. So at the end of the day, they resort to, you know, indulging in the wrong activities. If only they had something to do, probably.
And education as well.
Exactly. For some, they are educated. For some, they are educated. At least at grade 12, you can say they are educated. Is it? Or maybe they are not educated. You only consider people that have degrees.
No, they are educated. As long as they have a grade 12 certificate.
Yes, they are educated. But then they result to doing the wrong activities, probably because they don't have jobs, they don't have businesses to do, so they end up stealing from people, you know, terrorizing the community, which is wrong. So I just feel maybe if we could come up with initiatives that would help us become more active in the community, probably we'll have less cases of junkies.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, let us take a look at that story before we invite our guests.
The high rate of crime in Kawe's Katondo Township worries residents. Residents in the area have attributed to the increased attacks on innocent people by a gang of criminals known as junkies due to the delay in the completion of the police post under construction in the area. And in response, the earlier Member of Parliament, Chrysosta Piri, says our office is working tirelessly in order to complete the police post, which was commissioned by the immediate past area MP Tutu Angulube, even before the completion of the construction works. The gesture, she says, was for Mr. Angulube's political expedition.
It's one of the projects that have actually, been in construction for a long, long time. And I must say that people, what they saw even in 2021, that this project was handed over at night, but without even finishing. This tower, the towers were just recently constructed. You can see the counter that is not even completed. There, if you go around there and the cells, there are no windows there. It's just open. We still need to put the bagra bars. And also the toilets are not completed. So we need to make sure that this project is for the little work that is remaining, that we it's done so that we can hand over.
Petronella Msangulule, Camnet TV News in Kawe.
Quite interesting story there, and I hope that right now I was reading from the Zambia police group, Katamanda, this morning, where the Zambia police actually said here that they have arrested a number of junkies, and altogether they have arrested 65 junkies here in Lusaka. So this is from the Zambia police. So they said the Zambia police conducted an operation to arrest junkies in Matero, and some undercover police in plain clothes with a vehicle which is not marked yesterday at around 18:10 hours arrested 31 junkies, bringing the total number of detained junkies to 65 and detained in Matero at Matero police station.
That's a huge number. Like, it really is. I don't know, maybe something to do with mental issues.
Drugs. They use drugs.
Oh. They really need to be helped. They really need to be helped because...
And if you talk of shawarma, it's something else. Shawarma, even Mutendere these days, because me a long time ago, I used to trust places like Mutendere, like it's a peaceful place.
No.
But these days, it's so scary in Lusaka, most places.
Because you can't even move at 19 hours. Because people just hit you in the woods.
Someone will just come and grab your bag, and they move in groups. That's
the thing. You can't even defend yourself. So it's good that the police is putting in efforts in catching these people. And I don't know whether they need to be taken to rehabilitation centers or they just need some sort of... honestly, I don't know how we can help them.
Anyway, just moving on, like we said earlier, our phone lines today are not working, but you can always leave us a message on Facebook and participate in today's topic. So right now, we're going to our main topic where we're discussing entrepreneurship to end poverty. So according to the World Bank, Zambia has poverty levels of about 54%. This is abject poverty. Abject poverty is a state where people can't even have the barest minimum. The basic human rights of food, water, and all those things are degraded. They cannot have access even to food. Maybe they eat once a day, and that food is not even a decent meal. So the World Bank reports that levels of abject poverty in Zambia are at 54%. So now that we have the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, what opportunities does it have to end poverty, especially among youths, to break the cycle of poverty? And we're going to have Mr. Nechan Tiakakuya, the Executive Director of the Industrious Youth Organization, an organization that actually collects plastic waste just to recycle in order to end poverty, to discuss the topic with us today. But just now we'll play a story from Kanyama compound concerning floods, because when you look at waste, the plastic waste and other waste, they also pose as a danger in terms of waterborne diseases. So how best can we use things like waste management to create money? Let's take a look at that story as we get joined by our guest. Flooding is a perennial problem in some parts of Zambia annually due to the absence or lack of adequate drainages in some places. The case of Kanyama constituency, which is one of the largest in Zambia by size and population. Coupled with pit latrines, which are the main form of toilet sanitation in this area, as well as the indiscriminate disposal of waste, the situation creates a conducive environment for waterborne diseases like cholera. Residents of Kanyama compound have called on civic leaders to ensure that drainages are urgently constructed, stating that they will not accept the scenario to remain the same during the 2022-2023 rain season.
Abale tuteka fwe bakotene mfuta tukwete makamaka yakuti tule kubula menshi misewe yonza ilesula mumanda mulesula menshi tulala pamulu pamabwe ivi lera ndo munandi alade kitundulu to papa to buteko ba echi fwe balera ndatuli bakote nifo ma management yawo akawunda nifo twalwisha obuntungwa nobo buchuchi bwakiro bwa menshi batulolekeshe kwe misebo tukubula vya menshi twa papa to buteko
so ndiye problem yamne yametima facinga maningi rain season ndavopezi kati vimachani vichoka mtoilet bunja vingena mumanzi tipita che mu vimanzi vadoti as a result bana vadwala mabihazi ya machani vambiri that's why mamvera vilivonza ati kwa kanyama because vochitika ni vambiri maningi mo especially vamene vimabini peza vantu babachita movoipa baponyera mumanzi mwamene mujavi ma diapers vonse vipezeka.
Others say that the loss of property due to flooding is causing the cycle of poverty to continue as they lose various goods after their homes flood.
Chanechina votera kuti va state 6000 va president nchakuti chifuna kuno kuchinja banga stiona po change na rain season yebwera vatipayanishi so MP vafunika che vaikireko nzeru kunkala manzi kunelonga tini kuno kusowa na kopita na manyumba ya machoka ngushita che kutapula manzi ya mambo choka manyumba whereby vantu ambo kumpula manzi kutaya so panja muona muntu so yachokera mkati manzi vachana mafuro yariro maningi yakapaka kuno manzi ponsa pasona motoka yewa bwana singapite manzi kuno mwe mankariri
pamyesu ifwe mumyesu tufwe muungando mondala muda ba menshi na nomba line songa mwachi mufumbe pano twalifirwa kwikisha emipando ili pamulu pamabwe na nomba line so muunganda mondala inde ufumafe ino nganda 1 2 3 Ela paleka la menshi yakweba chitatufuma tuikala pa passage so epo tuikala patukutina munganda ero akachero tulafirwa kufuma.
Camnet News is yet to get the position of the area member of parliament Monty Chinkuli on the matter, as he indicated that he was in a meeting by broadcast time. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. Quite interesting there. So that was a story from Kanyama compound there, where the residents were complaining about the perennial issue of floods coupled with waste management, and they're saying that it's actually posing a danger for waterborne And in studio, we're joined by Mr. Nechan Takakuya, the Executive Director of Industrious Youth, an organization that actually works in Kanyama compound, dealing with the issue of waste management. Good morning, Mr. Nechan.
Good morning, Madam. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm sure you saw how I was avoiding to say your last name because it's a bit heavy, Mr. Nechan Takakuya.
Sure,
yes. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here and to be given this opportunity. It's a very a big move for people of Kanyama and also to the youths. It's an encouragement. Thank you very much.
Maybe you can just begin by telling people out there, our viewers out there, like what your organization does.
Okay. As usual, our organization is focusing on the hygiene of Kanyama, especially because we are from Kanyama. So we find that in most cases, like it is rain season now, the places in Kanyama most of the time are flooded. We don't have a good drainage system, I can say, because of we couldn't only point at the government, we also going to point at ourselves because of ignorance, I would say. So we find that it is now rain season. It is our culture where we see floodings and the warnings of mosquitoes. As we heard the rumors going around to say this year there will be a lot of mosquitoes. Probably Kanyama is going to be one of the areas because of the stagnant water, plus also the waste which we have in our area. So as an organization, basically we thought of coming together and just put our efforts together as youths, and we see how best we can help one another in making sure that the waste in our area is being managed. So we find that in most cases we are on public places such as markets, clinics, cleaning, making sure that the garbage which is there is taken out. So that is our main area of interest is sanitation in Kanyama. Sure. Okay,
quite interesting there. Now when you talk about using entrepreneurship to end poverty, maybe in comparison to last year, do you feel, or maybe just looking at what happened, or this year actually, I'm already saying last year because my mind is in 2023. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the 28.3 million quarter CDF for 2023. That's a good amount of money. But when you look at this year, 2022, do you feel there has been enough sensitization on CDF in most communities? Maybe on the ground from the youth themselves, has there been enough sensitization so that even just ordinary people out there, even the so-called junkies, if you ask them, do you know how to form, do you know what CDF is, do you know that can form cooperatives, do they have that information from your observation?
I would say the information is everywhere. Now it's just what kind of mind do you have, what do you choose? Do you choose to hear from it and to benefit from it, or you choose to stay away and just continue criticizing? The money is there without labeling which color, green or red or whatever, but it is for everyone. So I should say the information is on the ground, but like I've said before, in the previous regimes, these things they were labeled to be aligned with the political party. If you belong to a political party, that's when you benefit. So many of us and many of the people out there still have the mind to say only if you belong to a particular political party you are going to benefit this, which that kind of mentality, I would say is still there. And what we have to work on is one person to stand up and going there and to find out the realities. The reality are that each person of the community is entitled to benefit from that as long as you have got a particular plan or proposal which you intend to use that money for without any restrictions. Now I don't know, to my fellow youths, especially whom we have labeled people like junkies, they say, if they have got that information, it's our duty to reach out to them and tell them about the information, which I understand some of them are aware of it, because we have tried by all means to see that tweet that none of them is left out, regardless of the person. The information is reached to the ground. Like you have seen most of the times when we are having cleanups, we make sure that we involve each one. And personally, the targets that I involve first, the people so-called who are labeled to be junkies, I would go there 3 days before and have a chat with them. Hey, guys, we are going to clean this. Don't you think we can have a nice time together? Definitely there will be some questions. What will be our benefits? It's the benefits, of course, yes, for them to bring them close. You should understand to say they are youths, young, For them to be there, they have to get something by the end of the day. But what is best, what is big that they are going to get by that particular time is knowledge. What they are going to get at particular time is exposure. You find that once you gather them, they come, they join you. As you are doing that particular work, they should know why you are doing that, the benefits of doing that. And also by the end of the day, you have wasted their time. You also should know, so what are you going to accommodate them with? So now, it's a, you cannot manage to be giving money to them every time they come. So we as an organization believe in exposure. Once you come there and then they come there, we are going to find them. Okay, guys, what do you do? Find from there, okay, fine. If you can rap, you can do. Why have you done any song that we can just give you a platform, we expose, we promote you. So by the way, as we are cleaning, we are also showing them the light of life away from what they do, what they believe in. So the question is, the information you're trying by all means that it should reach the people whom we have labeled to be junkies, because they are a member of our communities. And once they are fully aware of what happens, you find them being in a situation where they are going to use their skills. Yeah, they are to uplift their skills through the same money which we are calling CDF. But in most cases, you find that we have just aligned it to say CDF is for political gain, probably it's for political cadres, those who didn't benefit much, so they are going to get money once the CDF is out. So it is my humble cry to everyone out there to say, this CDF, it is not for any political party, but it is for us to see to it that our community has developed through the same CDF.
And just to add on, I feel information really has been, people who are disseminating information about the CDF, they have done their level best. But then looking at the people that we have labeled, or that society has labeled to be junkies, these are people who drink, these are people who smoke. So even if they were to come up with a corporation, how can they be trusted with money to come up with an initiative or a business idea or whatever thing that they might have to do? Because at the end of the day, that CDF that we're being given, we have to pay it back some time later.
Yes.
So how can we best help these junkies to be trusted with the CDF? Okay.
Remember, each person of these junkies, we have labeled, the people have labeled junkies, they have got something which they desire. Each person, by the end of the day. So what matters mostly, let us not look at handouts given. Under this CDF, there are loans, there are bursaries, which a person can benefit from. Even if you don't have a grade 12 certificates, they will take you and have a skill upgraded. Which skill are you good at? If maybe this person is an artist, probably they will take you to school, you continue with your drawings. If it is in that area, you have got a skill, probably want to be a carpenter, you are going to upgrade your skill in that area. But the only thing which we are lacking in most cases is identifying these people. And before these people they identify us, we are failing to identify ourselves. You find that you say, I've got a big talent, but you don't know exactly on how to go about it. What do? You have got a talent, there are loans, there are for the batteries, there are loans, which are the grants, which you can go there, you propose to them, then they give you as a grant, you don't have to pay back. It's another option. Or maybe they are just a group of people who we think, these people, even if you gave them money, definitely they are going to waste the money in short possible period of time. So what do? Give them a skill. In that case, to my side, if I was asked, it's better we get them. Probably no junkie today would refuse, say you takutenga uzangara makenika tutenge ku school. Zangara makenika, nobody would refuse that. But what we are lacking probably is the desire of our leaders to see to it that the people of the community benefit equally. The desire to see to it that once you are in a position of being a leader, your first role is to think of others and to think of for others a situation where you are in the situation where you are a leader, but my people don't have this view of this vision. What do? You implement something for them, and you think of them every time you are there to say, okay, things they are there now. What is the next? What market am I going to offer them? Let's say you give the junkies a skill of doing mechanics. They are out there, they are done. Do you think they are going to look for employment? You say no, they can't. Okay, fine. As a leader, Do I have power, the capability at least to make them a workshop where they'll be working from? You find that within your circle, you have. You think of them again, you lobby on their behalf. So you find that the skill you have given them, which is education, they have gathered the skill, they'll be able to apply it using again your power. But we think we just lack the power, the leadership that got the heart for the people.
You've mentioned something to do with rappers, you mentioned something to do with mechanics and everything. For those that feel like they can't do maybe mechanics, and I think this generation is more into the entertainment industry compared to the serious industries that we have. So for those that feel like I can sing, or maybe I can rap, or maybe I can become a good presenter, or I can become a good motivational speaker, for those ones, how best do you think we can help them? Because at the end of the day, they can't go as a group or form a cooperative. Those ones have to work individually. So how best can we help those people, or what information can we give them in order to help them become better people, or to lessen just the number of junkies, or just removing the label of a junk from them?
Okay. What has you should understand to say what has caused the junkies today is because of lack of opportunities and lack of exposure. So you find that because of they've got nothing to do, they engage them in those areas. They engage themselves in those areas. So in those areas, what I would advise is, as a leader, you are a leader for all. As a leader, you have taken up all the stages for the old and for the youths. So you have to find now a situation where, how do I identify the youths which I have in the community? They are what you can call talent identifications, where now, at least as a leader, you can organize to say, okay, me as a leader, nafaka police 2000 Nikuru Mkomboni. I saw Mausampa doing Boba talent show. That's a very big one. That's a good one. It's identifying talents. If we had more leaders in such activities, you find that by the end of the day, you are going to know what kind of youths you have got in your area, what kind of potential is full in your area, what do you bring up by the end of the day. So you find that the people can sing, but they can't form a cooperative in that area, because others sing reggae, others sing what, and you think it will be awkward for them, because the people who believe are in those category of industry, they believe in themselves. Literally, it's not that every time they work as a group, it's one-one. So in most cases, what I would prefer to me is to go mouse and pass way and identify talents. After identifying talents, at least now you give them a platform on their own to say, I've identified you now, the world has known you, go and now conquer the world and at least bring out your best.
Quite interesting there. In case you're watching us today, our phone lines are not working, but you can leave us a message on Facebook. And we actually have a message from one of our viewers here, Mr. Chris Banda, who says, youths in Zambia are too proud. They cannot even clean toilets for a job. Your thoughts on that? Could you feel that maybe our notions, our beliefs could be holding us back? Because when you look at countries like China, China is known for all kinds of jobs, any kind of job. But in Zambia, is it that our own mindset is making us continue in this cycle of poverty? Your thoughts?
Exactly. Because you find in a situation where even cleaning, sanitation, it shouldn't be a bigger issue where we should worry to say who's going to do it, and it all starts from the background. You know, most of us, we are from the background where I told no, and like school, white collar job and everything. We are forgetting to say even these basic things we see in our community, it's one of the things which can give us money. So by the end of the day, you find that we have labeled such work on for the list, if there's any, those people who are most the poorest, they are considered to say doti. But you find if you go in other countries, you find those people, they are highly paid, because why? They keep your community environment clean. And you find that because we have grown up in an environment of us always wanting something on a silver platter, or us wanting collar jobs, hard things such as farming, it is considered to be not for the youths. Why? Because we are used to say, to see those things kuri wankote che. When you get pension ukaende kumuzi kulima, you such things instead of saying to say as Zambia is full of potential youths, why can't we invest in the youths in farming so that they can feed the old and the young? Because we are many, but you find that in most cases we have got we have gone farming mostly to the people who are old. If you are giving fertilizer, pasani bakuru, why can't you give a certain generation who are useful so that I can feed both? Because I've got potential, I've got power. So now here we are talking about an environment where we can't see youths doing that kind of work, because we are brought up to say, iyo mamuno kazikura evona yo, usekera konchitu ya nzero, tsebenza mu banki. But who is going to do that for you? If we were taught from an early age to say this is our responsibility, we are not going to have so much garbage in town. Today in town there is so much garbage because we don't have youths who are proud to carry that. It's the same challenge that we face as an organization, for us to recruit members and to say, what do you do? Tima doba mabini. Mabini. Yes. So try by all means to say, if these people come and join us, one, they should find entertainment, one, they should find exposure, just for them to remove that kakuta and zogwira mabini, because for others it is embarrassing. But for us, we have chosen to be a lifesaver, because we believe once we dedicate ourselves in doing such works, by the end of the day we'll save lives, and we'll save, it will be less cost to the government when it comes to a means of health, because some of our works, they're being done by us. That's what we believe in.
And when it comes to issues of entrepreneurship, because apart from ending poverty, these ones, entrepreneurship activities are actually meant to bring development. So maybe looking at how the 2022 CDF was handled, do you feel there should be, or should there be some guidance in terms of what cooperatives should be going forward? Maybe they are in relation to each area. What challenges does each area have, or should it just be left like that, the way it has been going? If 100 people want to go into goat rearing, they're going to goat rearing. Well, we have many other problems in the community. What's your thought on that?
Once, like I said, a leader has got a duty to think of and to think for. They thought of us and they increased the CDF, but now it's here. So now it is also their duty to sokifanya tabapasa. Are they able to think beyond the box? Or
beyond the goats in Zambia, the goats and chickens.
So now the thing is here now, if we have seen they can't do it, and you are willing to say, okay, our aim is to see that Zambia benefits. As leaders also who are exposed, because exposure is one of the keys. Once you are exposed, you find that you've got so many connections, so many ideas. So if you think your people are not exposed like you are, it is your duty to think of them now, or to think for them. Since the upper CDF now, and most of them, their proposals they are bringing is will be keeping chickens, goat rearing, and you find that these chickens again, they are not giving them, they are not sustainable. So as a leader for you now, it's you sit down as a board. What problems do we have in our community? As once you are a leader, your duty is to think for them and to think of. So now, what are the problems in your community that you thought when you are aspiring for that position? That now that you are there, what kind of people do you think can be applicable and see to it that those challenges are tackled? So to answer for me, I think if we see some of the cooperatives are not making sense, it is okay for leaders to sit down and to say, okay, for example, Kanyama, let us give them to say cooperative Tifuna in this line, because once you bring them in this line, they are going to help us in this line. And the people also, they say, oh, can't you chitike? But to find that there is someone like me who wants to form a cooperative of getting garbage, and few people will be in agreement with me because they don't want to touch garbage. Then the government also every year the reports are to them, no, and you think, but why are these reports coming every time when you have increased CDF? You have increased, yes, but it's also your time to think on their behalf. What do you think can be applied? Damage increase CDF, now start applying proposals in this area so that we can solve this problem.
Okay, so in short, what you're saying is people should take pride in other industries or other fields, because it's not only white collar jobs like you have said that would bring money to our tables.
Sure.
We need people that will clean the markets. Like yourself, you have an organization that's focused on sanitation. You're trying to bring sanity to the communities by cleaning the communities. So do you encourage more people to form maybe cleaning cooperatives where they're just called upon? When they're given money, should they buy things like brooms or any other things that they can use to like protect themselves, and take pride when they're saying, okay, we have been caught by maybe the council to just go and clean in Limatawa, for example, or Soweto? We'll go there with our things. Should we take pride in such things?
In everything you do, Madam Number One, you should take pride. No one first, me I believe in, no one is going to help you before you take pride in what you do. So first, if we expect people to help us in our area, especially in where waste is, we should first take pride in it. We should ask ourselves first, take keen interest in it. Then others are going to come on board and help us. And you think in a situation where, like, for example, Kanyama, it is known for stones and garbage. But very few people are going to apply for cooperatives that are going to do garbage collection. Very few people are going to do cooperatives that maybe are going to say, okay, us from Kanyama will be making blocks. Why? Because we say, they've got stones. They are there. But people to think for them in those ideas, and machineries, they are not there and they think they are expensive. But we thought if we had people who could take pride in what they have and getting what they don't have, by the end of the day, or as we are speaking today, you find that Kanyama could have been the cleanest place and a place where it be supplying blocks the whole country. Why? Because it's full of stones, it's full of garbage, and those things, they're just near us. We don't have to go in deep and looking for them. No. So if you say today we are going to say cooperatives should be formed in Kanyama 10 and they'll be doing garbage collections, believe me, not even in less than a week, people will be making more money. Why? Because there are more houses there, there are debt there, and by the end of the day you find that those things in Madogeti come up just some meters away from homes. So because they don't have people to collect them and they don't have anyone to take pride in that, every time Kanyama to remain dirty like that.
Quite interesting. Then we have another message here from our viewer who says, we are killing ourselves in Zambia. Products made by cooperatives are looked down on by fellow Zambians. So I think they're talking about, I think even recently we saw there is a cooperative in Kawata which is making dishwashing liquid. So maybe I think they're talking about such things. But when you go in a supermarket, we're going to say, oh, made in Zambia. No, I'm going to buy this one from South Africa. What are your thoughts? Are we supporting ourselves as Zambians? Or is it that maybe we don't believe in the quality of our products?
Yeah, this world is full of competitors, very competitive. And so we find that, like the way I've put it, what we need in most cases, well, I feel there should be some policies which should support our local things, local products. Imagine if a cooperative was formed today and you say, let us start making Chubwanto, and you put you in the market, then you find the competitor is Trade King. If you think it's going to go through, definitely go for Trade King. So I think if a policy was there to support small and medium enterprises, I think we are going to love and we are going to support one another. And also what I would love to say is to encourage is let us support small businesses which are done by our friends. It's true, it's very difficult for someone to go buy. I know that you are selling honey. It's be difficult for me to come and buy from you. I would prefer to go to ShopRite and buy which is branded.
Okay, on that part, don't you think maybe we, our very own Zambian people, we are the ones to blame? Because I had a situation where you go and buy something from this particular person, they are manufacturing themselves, and then you look at the quality, even the taste, it's not like that good. So at the end of the day, no one wants to invest or nobody wants to be affiliated with something that is not of a good quality. So don't you think us producing or working with cheap materials is what is causing other people to go for something that is of good quality?
Exactly. No one would love to buy or to spend on a cheap quality thing. But what we should also consider is for them to come up with those raw quality things because they don't have standard machines to make the proper ones. And maybe they can have what is needed to make those things, but what is required is also knowledge. Because you find that in every skill, I can know how to make mungoyo, but if I go to school, I will have more ideas on how to go about it. And when I come back from the mungoyo, we know how to taste, and others will call it mayo. But you find that maybe just made in the same procedure, but because of how it is made. So I think that's what I said, talent identification and self-identification is very much important. When you see that you are good in that, try to upgrade in that area. If you are good at baking, you go to school in that area or you upgrade your area of baking. By the end of the days, you are going to make the same cake which you used to make, but the design and it will look different because of what the skill you have acquired at school. So it is important to say we should upgrade our skill by going to school through the CDF which have been given, which is another plus to it. The small little skill which we do Mkomboni, believe me, if we added the spice to it, which is education, by the end of the day, we'll see to it that it will be a good product. And we are going to compete even in these other bigger brands.
And talking about knowledge, have we seen capacity building? For example, the same example we're talking about of making soap. Have we seen enough capacity building maybe in the community? For example, say we're making soap, maybe dishwashing liquid or something, because you find that these are just maybe women from the community competing against companies that have got people who've studied, specialized in those things. Is it that they were just going to Google and say these are the ingredients, or have we seen enough capacity building in the community for us to make these cooperatives work, especially where it comes to the making of products?
I think for me the best answer to that one would be if everything starts slow, gradually we are going to get there. If we see they have got potential to make something, what is needed is support. If we are going to sit down and say, that cooperative, that movement who is making that saving and carry bueno, but by the end of the day, if we see that that project will go down, but if we give them support, and once we give them support, the bigger picture here is the government to help these people, because we're talking about the CDF thing. So now, if those people who have shown interest and have shown their potential in making sure that they can supply something for the community can be assisted in the sense that they are given enough capital to do better from what they are doing, because what makes them to produce that raw thing, that low quality things, because of they don't have enough capital to acquire for a standard that might be needed by people. But as long as they've got the desire to deliver, as long as they've got the potential to bring the outcome of what they think is best or to solution to some problems, because I'm sure for them to come up with that product is because they're trying to find solution for something. But if you find and you see it is worthy to say, okay, what they're doing is able to find a solution to some problems, give them help. They support one another. The whole point here is just supporting one another and just give them one another a boost in whatever we are doing, as long as it is a solution to a problem that we are facing in a community.
In a few years' time, do you see, or like maybe as an entrepreneur yourself and someone with experience in entrepreneurship, maybe let's say in 10 years' time, do you see most of the cooperatives working, or is there a better way in which we can handle the cooperatives? Because I've heard sentiments there saying, of course, like I mentioned earlier, where people are competing against people who are experts. So it's more like, I don't know what word I can use in English, but in is it Bemba or they say ukubuta? Yeah, when they compare to like companies that are trained, they feel like maybe what some people are doing is ukubuta, like make something makeshift. So maybe in a few years' time, if the status quo remains the same without capacity building and all this, do you see most of the cooperatives today continuing, or are they going to die? Is it going to be a trial and error, and are we going to just waste the funds that have been given?
We have seen these empowerments before. They come, they go. Some of them, they just die a natural death. Probably it's the power to fail to sustain them. But what do we have in place that to make these cooperatives be sustained. We find that once we are given, like for example, like we are today, 10 people come up with cooperatives, then you are given, you start something. But how long is it going to sustain? For how long is it going to be in power? Once ourselves we don't support one another, I don't see it going anywhere. And also, once we fail to deliver the good quality, the standard where the people, which the people want, we also don't see it to go anywhere. So that is the reason why the leaders should think on behalf of people and come up with projects that you think will be sustainable and of meaning if to people. Because yes, some of the projects, they come and die and would say, we knew that it can't go anywhere. We knew just it was another way of just eating money. So how do we cut those sentiments from people? It is by us coming up with projects that have got a sustainable plan and to see for how long is it going to last, and this project which they have come up with, how long is it, how many people are going to benefit in the long term, and if it does not go beyond these years which they have put in their plan, how best are we going to get our money back? In this case, we're talking about the government. If you get a loan, you have to go back and pay back. But how do you think, how comfortable are we saying to say these people will pay back? It all matters with what the plan they have for this project. So to me, I think it's okay even if they hold back the money a bit and they see that people have got projects that will be sustainable, and by the end of the day many will be what will benefit, than just giving money to people who have come up with this project for the sake of basaka kambakuti pass. It is better not giving when you see the projects won't go anywhere.
So would you agree with this statement? Is it okay if people that are in charge of distributing the CDF funds to have some sort of a training before they release the money? They train these people, they make sure that these people know what they're doing, these people are working together. Because I think I have seen some cooperatives that were formed back then, and then people just had different ideas. They ended up just squandering the money, and then there were just all these disagreements and, you know, unsettled issues. So do you think it would be okay if they came up with a policy where before they give you the money, they have to train you people in that field that you want to go in, then make sure that you have an understanding, you know what you're getting yourself into before releasing the money?
Very much. Because me being in this commune, I've interacted with different people on different days where I would find, I attend Pangache cooperative to register and Ramazaka Choka Tikadi. It happens, they say that, and many people, they have got that mentality. So if we have to see a great nation or a great community, it's because you have to have better plans for a community, better ideas for a community, and also we have to stick to what we plan to deliver, and not shielding in the sense that once I'm giving the money, I'll divest. No, we should stick to what we apply for. And for me, I'll be much comfortable if they say all those people who applied for CDF, like you have said, we should take them for trainings and they acquire more skills on what they want to deliver. Because most of the cases are just the things now and we don't know what your luck will be. Maybe their luck it went through because they had a better backup of what they were doing. They had a plan. But for you, it's just because you saw it and you thought, let me try that. Or maybe even the trying wasn't that, it was just let me apply once I'm given, I diversify and I eat the money. So it's best once we apply for something, I think, then we go for a training. It will add more value.
And when you look at the issue of maybe small, medium enterprises in Zambia, where we have seen a number of investors, for example, Chinese investors here in the country, maybe they come in the construction, road construction, but eventually they start selling chickens and all those things. We've heard all those complaints saying investors are maybe like getting away jobs that are meant for the local people. So how best do you feel this can be handled, even as we are embracing cooperatives? We're embracing cooperatives, some have gone into chickeneering and all those things, but if they're now competing with investors, do you feel that local businesses are going to survive, given that these investors even have maybe more capital, so they're able to make all those things better even than Zambians?
I think the first person who are to benefit should be Zambians, because me, at personal level, I believe Zambia must be for Zambians first before anyone comes in. So if investors would come and stop what they are here for and they start doing what Zambians are doing, meaning by the end of the day we'll forever be slaves to them. Because one, we should say those people have got more capital than us, than our own, because of where they come from. Because you find that maybe their coins on color had kept money. Once I go to Zambia, I'm going to change this money into their currency. Then I'll start a business there. So it's high time that the authorities in charge in those areas, they come up with policies that to first protect the interest of Zambians. Believe me, even if I've got a family of 10 home, 3 are my children, then the rest I just keep them. Then I try to embrace those people I just whilst my own children are suffering. Then I'm not a good parent. I should make it safe first my children are comfortable. If I reach home, my children mom together, Daddy, then I give 2 sweets to my children. It's fine. That one is my child. But the whole point is I've given them. So we should create a policy that to favor first our own before favors others. We should make sure to it that our Zambians youths, they benefit more than those which you are calling today investors.
I feel, you know, as an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur yourself, and I'm also an upcoming entrepreneur. I feel every entrepreneur wants to take an opportunity where a problem is, they create a solution. If we are just seated, we're not doing anything, and then these investors, they come, they say there's a need here. And then they start doing things that we Zambians are not doing. Is it fair, or is it normal for us to start complaining, to say these people are getting our jobs, these people are getting our businesses, when we ourselves have an opportunity to do it, but we're folding our arms saying, no, we are waiting, maybe when we get jobs or when we have an opportunity, but opportunities are there every day. And these people, when they come, they see an opportunity, they see where a problem is, they are trying to create solutions. So as Zambians, what word of advice can you give to us, especially the young people? Because we are in the habit of putting blames or pointing fingers at people, saying, no, they are getting our jobs, they are doing this, but we are not doing anything to make changes in our communities, in our societies, in the nation.
It is not wrong being an eye-opener, especially in a situation where you want to help. It is very much unfair where they would come and identify a potential job, they do it, then us we complain. But it is fair also when we complain, because we believe our leaders are exposed. So once you are a leader, your duty is to think for your people. If those people can come and they see potential somewhere where a leader failed, then as a leader you have failed. So what is important there is, if they have come, they identified that as leaders come in and you see how best you are going to benefit them and your community. It is best that they come, they identify it. Yes, we are happy that have identified, you leaders failed to identify. Then what is your role as a leader now? Be our middleman. Make sure that the people of the community benefit from these people. That's what I would say.
Quite interesting. Then, Kesa, just joining us, we're discussing on how best entrepreneurship can be used to end poverty. So you can leave us a message on Facebook, because our phone lines are not working. But just now, we'll take a look at a story that was done from Kawata constituency on Saturday, where the Kawata CDF committee has begun going around in that community to inspect the cooperatives that were formed, because according to them, they say about 48 cooperatives were formed in Kawata, but so far only one has come up to say they have made something out of what they were given. Let's just take a look at the story, even as we come to conclude on the topic. With 2023 quickly approaching, many citizens are eagerly waiting to apply for cooperative funding under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, having seen other citizens receiving grants under the 2022 provision. Kawata Constituency CDF Committee Chairperson Chilekwa Munkonge, however, says inspections have begun in the constituency to ascertain whether all those that received funding in 2022 have made good with the money they received. Speaking when inspecting some cooperatives Saturday morning, the Kawata CDF Committee Chairperson says cooperative members should remember that not even profits can be shared, as the plan is for cooperatives to expand and become companies in a few years.
And these are the policies of the government of the day. They have been saying, let's give this cooperative to the people. We give them money for those who are not employed, those who are not in employment. This is one of them of being employed by the government. Another issue is that other people, they want to move from their cooperatives after seeing that we have paid them. Please, no one is supposed to leave. When you leave the cooperative, you are not supposed to get your share. There is no one who has the share in the cooperative. This money is meant for the cooperative members. If you leave the cooperative, just leave.
Meanwhile, some members of Kawoko Women Cooperative, where the Kawata CDF committee began the inspection, say the business, which specializes in dishwashing liquids and detergent, which was only started with 40,000 kwacha by 60 women, hopes to become an employer after 1 year.
Party number no gurisa. So tipempa government. Kuti hii tipempa na certificate yo yamba kwenda yamba kuchita supply. Then tikali kupempa government kuli 40,000 ya memba nati pasa kuti tiyambe tinayamba no gurisa masafu. Tipempa kuti kuli 40,000 ingatikani zile kugula venangu ma machines yo sebenzesa yenangu na vintu venangu vauti tiyambe cooperative yatu yende kuntangu kikale a big company.
This thing we plan it to be big. It will be maybe the whole country. Let me say like that. And we are going to employ so many people. As women, we are going to employ even my youths. We are going to employ men, as it's going to become a big company. So by come next year, by this time, I think we'll be big. We'll be supplying in big companies.
And once the people choose and they decide, when they know that this is a good quality, there's no way they can be able to separate the fact that this is the best quality. I think we will stick to quality. Once they test our products, they will decide for themselves. We can't just say we stop other products or anyone else, but we believe we will stick to quality, and then from that we'll be known as quality product as well.
Some United Party for National Development UPND officials within the constituency have also spoken out.
One, you have to be united as you are doing this business. Two, you have to be transparent, okay? You do things with the eyes open, not eyes closed. Then number three, you don't have to be stagnant, you have to grow.
In the new Dawn government, the CDF is real. You can see what people are doing with it. And we're encouraging other women as well. Come next year, apply for these CDF grants and apply for the loans and everything else that are there, so that we can see how we can improve this whole constituency as a whole.
It is hoped that small medium enterprises in Zambia will become international companies in a few years. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. Well, that was wonderful there. At least we've seen where the women in Kawata constituency have made washing liquid as well as other cleaning detergents there. That's quite a good move. Maybe Mr. Ntakakoya, your thoughts on the whole situation where we have like a lot of cooperatives, but then only few coming up to show that this is what they've done. What are your thoughts on that?
Very sad, and if it was a parent, to be very discouraged to see your children that after investing and trusting them. I think on my side, it is our duty also, as we get these benefits from the CDF, to see to it that what we plan to deliver is what should be delivered. In most cases, I'm sure those people out of the 41? 48, and only one has delivered in Kawata. Probably what we are lacking also is the truth in what we do. There is too much pretense such that we see the CDF as just a way of a source of getting money or a source of paying us back for voting for the current government. That's why men are taking it. We took this CDF thing, and the moment we had to say it has even been increased, to say, I think they have increased with a view that at least in Jakarta, but which is not really the case here. The case of these things to see to that our community is developed. It is us who are going to cry even next year to say the government is not doing enough, even when we have been given a form or a way of making sure that we are safe and we are okay in what we are doing. I think it is very much shameful, I would put it that way, to see to it that only 1 out of the 48 is doing well. I'm sure Kanyama, we have not yet have such, and my hope is that to see that those who benefited from the CDF would bring out what they promised, because I'm sure the committee which selected the groups which should be giving money, they selected them based on what they have, what they are going to deliver to the community. And I'm sure the people who are selecting that, they made sure that the selection, it was fair to everyone to see that whatever was selected to be very much fruitful to the community. But if we are going to see us in a situation where we fail to deliver in such a way, it will be very let down to see to that. And if such things continues, I would discourage the government to continue give out more. And I think for that, if it continues, it's better that the government consider coming up with ideas for the people. To say, okay, since now it feels like it's a forcing matter, right? Yeah. Again and again we'll complain. So maybe probably if they say, okay, this is the line which we people you want to see, and after you do this, we are going to take you to school. After school, again we feel as if you are being pushed in a corner where we have no freedom to do things on our own. Why? Because we have failed to do it without their much tight, how can I put it, supervision. Because the fact that we have been given this money and to do it on our own will, and in things that we felt our own, in our own capacity we can deliver and can help, then that's what we bring on the table. It's a shame to the nation and to the community. Let's put our ideas together. At least we see to it that what we say we will deliver, it is delivered for the betterment of the community.
Quite interesting. Your concluding remarks in under a minute?
My concluding remarks would be, at least the rains are here. I would like to take this time to encourage people there to see that sanity is everywhere. Let us keep our environment clean. Let us make sure that our surrounding, at least to be kept that way, at least to kick away mosquitoes, stagnant water is a must, especially Kanyama. That's why by all means at least we take our yard, at least you spray, so that at least such things like mosquitoes and other germs which comes along with this rain season are dead. And my lastly is that my fellow youths, let's try by all means to keep ourselves busy, to keep ourselves active in everything that we do. And by the end of the day, probably Zambia shall be great.
Katamando, your thoughts on what we discussed before we close?
I'm just saddened with the number that just came up to show what they're doing. And these are not youths. As youths, we should be ashamed of ourselves, because these are our mothers. And they're doing the most. They are headed somewhere. But as the youths, where are we? Guys, let's get working. Let's get working. The CDF is free for everybody. Let's just come up with cooperatives that are going to make sure. And the cooperatives that are coming up, let's be sure of the ideas that we want to do. Let's have more knowledge. I think that's what I would have to leave with the youths. Let's research. When we are sure that this is it, then let's apply. When we're given the money, at least we are sure that we're going to head it for something, and not just getting into something like our guest said, where because Zipporah is doing it and I feel like I can also do it. Let's not do that. Let's do something that we're good at doing.
And it actually reminds me of the parable of the talents in the Bible, where that one who hid his talent, everything was gotten away from him and given to the one with more. Yes. So if I was the president, I would get the CDF from the other cooperatives and give it to those women, because
they're doing something. And they still need machinery. So because
they actually progressed. Earlier they were using cooking sticks to make their soap, then they bought that machine, and so they need more funds, because at least after something we need to get that money and give to those women.
Definitely, they deserve it. They do.
And quite interesting topic that we had today. We were discussing entrepreneurship to end poverty in Zambia. So how best can the poverty cycle be broken in Zambia? So come 2023, we hope many youths, even including graduates who are looking for jobs, will take advantage of the Constituency Development Fund to make something for themselves. We were joined by Mr. Nechan Takakuya, Executive Director for the Industrious Youth Organization. And do join Patrick Soko and Sharon Kalimbula tomorrow as they take you into politics. From us, it's until next week, Monday and Tuesday. Have a blessed day.